Adopted woman who tests her DNA on Ancestry finds why mom abandoned her 43 years ago. After many years of a mother and daughter wondering if they would ever find each other, a holiday miracle was already in the works. Despite it taking 4 decades, the two were finally reunited after being separated for 43 years. Here's their heartwarming story and the one reason it took so long to find each other. Biological mother. Every year, especially during the holidays, Kimberly Sebick, age 44, wondered about her mom. The fact that she worked as a doula and childbirth educator meant she was constantly coaching other women into motherhood and being reminded of her own mother. She had no idea who her biological mom was, and she wondered about her. Adoption. All that she knew was that her mom was young and unmarried when she gave her up for adoption. Little did Sebick know that during the holidays and every day of the year, as a matter of fact, her mother thought of her as well. Searching the internet. Sherry Hahn DeSalvo posted on message boards and forums, as well as scouring the internet to find her daughter, according to USA Today. All that she knew about her was that she was born on October 8, 1972, in a Florida emergency room. Every day she wondered how her daughter was and if she was happy. Special gift. One of Sebick's clients bought her a DNA test from Ancestry.com once she heard her doula's story. Being a history professor with a focus on genealogy, she was shocked Sebick knew nothing about her past. A few days later, she presented the DNA test to her with a gift bag containing the plastic vial. Ancestry.com. After filling the vial with saliva, Sebick mailed it in, and a few weeks later she learned her ancestors were mainly French Mediterranean. Then Ancestry.com gave her an option that she could find out if her DNA was similar to anyone else's in their files. DNA. And I had an extremely close match, that's what they call it, she said, with an older man in his 60s in South Dakota. Sebick remembered back when she was 25 and she paid a service for non-identifying information. At the time, she learned that her mother was a teenage mom who knew she was pregnant but didn't get any prenatal care and didn't tell anybody. Adoption. I was always of the opinion adoption was a magical gift, Sebick said. I didn't know the circumstances surrounding it, so I obviously felt kind of bad about that, but I mostly had a positive spin on it. Sebick's adoptive parents were always open about her adoption and tried to give her as much information as they had about her birth parents. Close relative. When Sebick learned she had a very close relative, she tried to figure out who the man on Ancestry.com was. I saw his mother and saved her picture to my computer and said, I'm related to her. After that, it took her 2.5 months to get the courage to send the man an email. Email. She wrote in the email the few details she knew of her adoption and apologized to him if this information was shocking. Then, after celebrating Mother's Day with her daughter, Andon McLaughlin, Sebick posted a bittersweet message to Facebook, explaining how she often suffered from a strained relationship with her adoptive mother. Bittersweet. Sebick added that she did not know anything about her biological mother. I'm quite conflicted on Mother's Day, she wrote in 2016. All I can say, though, is that I see amazing mothers every day. Ones who struggle, ones who seem to breeze by, ones who have heartache, ones who find the true meaning of mothering in their journey with their children. Hiding her pregnancy. Sebick had no idea that her mother became pregnant with her in 1972 when she was only 15, and that she hid her pregnancy. At the time, she sort of went into a state of denial that she was ever pregnant. Going into labor. DeSalvo's parents first learned she was pregnant after she went into labor and gave birth in an emergency room. She didn't even tell the birth father, her then boyfriend and first love, because his family was conservative. After learning the news, DeSalvo's parents were consumed with shock and they arranged for an adoption. The day of her birth. I was swept along. I did not argue, as I believed it was probably for the best, DeSalvo told USA Today. My hope was that she'd find a mom and dad, a good normal family. But for decades, she held tightly in her mind to memories from that date. It was the only time she held her daughter in her arms. Newborn. I remember her dark hair, lots of it. Had I been able to name her, she would have been Cassandra Lee or Tara Marie. I remember it was sunny out and a beautiful Sunday morning. I remember pain, physical and emotional, confusion, and fear of my parents' reaction. I remember being very drugged and just waiting to sleep, she said. Elated. I was totally shocked, DeSalvo said. I had a ton of emotions run through me. Surprise, elation. I never allowed myself to believe it would happen. Both her brothers were supportive, and her son was excited, along with her stepson. Her husband was especially thrilled since for many years she'd tried to get DeSalvo to hire a private investigator to find her daughter. Google search. After the overwhelming support she received, DeSalvo sat down at her computer and Googled her daughter. When I first saw her Facebook profile picture, I knew she was my daughter. No DNA test results needed, DeSalvo said. I had my brother give her my Facebook page so she could check me out. First conversation. After emailing her daughter for the first time on Mother's Day evening, the two shared a phone conversation that lasted 4 hours. They discovered the one reason they had trouble finding each other. Sebek's birth certificate listed the hospital she and DeSalvo were taken to, not the hospital where DeSalvo had actually given birth. Like a warm hug. Soon the pair was talking every day, and they learned of their many similarities. From their voices to their love of animals, they just clicked. While DeSalvo worried her daughter would be angry with her, Sebek was anything but. In fact, she said, it was like a warm hug you've been waiting for your whole life. Check out these other videos from Let Me Know. If you haven't made the move to subscribe to our channel, all you need to do is click on that red subscribe button. Thank you for watching.